When I was a young female banker, I didn't have a lot of women I could look up to because there were not many, if any. So we need that to change because the diversity is not about gender diversity or color or religion diversity. It's about the diversity of thoughts. If we are from different culture, different background, and different approach, so gender, we're going to approach the problem differently. Imagine the richness it brings to the table.
So tell us, what do you do?
So I'm currently the CEO of a company called Fennech Pte Ltd. We opened the company 3 years ago in Singapore. It's part of a bigger group called Fennech Financial, where I'm the chair of the group. And it's a company that we built, we incorporated and created from scratch 8 years ago. And now we've got around 20 people working for that company in 4 different subsidiaries. So we've grown nicely, and it's a lot of responsibility because technically we've got 20 family to look after.
Okay. So Audrey, what led you to the position today in what you do in Fintech?
So I've got a boring past professionally now. I've been in banking all my career. Initially,
in Europe?
Yeah, I wanted to be a writer, and my dad said, look, with all the diplomas you have, you will write your book on Saturdays and Sundays, but get yourself a job.
On the weekdays, right?
Yeah, but I think daddies are very often right. And I landed by chance in banking. And it was an interesting timing because I was a student, so with a master in my portfolio and an MBA. And back in the day, I'm not a dinosaur, but I'm 53 years old, right? Back in the days, we were already working with, the Microsoft PowerPoint, Excel. But most of the people in banking were not. They were still on terminals. So I literally landed at this point of time, and they were starting to put some audits and reporting, and so they said, hey, you're a young lady, you've got all the knowledge on Excel spreadsheet, and we're going to start to build something around compliance and regulation and audit to measure. So I landed there in Normandy, where I'm from. So I'm French originally. I left Normandy for Paris, stayed in Paris for 10 years, and then I moved to London 10 more years, and then I moved to California for nearly 5, and very joyfully landed in Singapore 3.5 years ago. So I was in banking for many years, and when I was about to pre-retire, because I thought it was time, I loved so much being in banking, but I was not having as much fun as I used to. So I was ready to pre-retire, and one of my friends said, look, I'm going to get out from banking, and I'm going to create a fintech to address one problem that I still see now that has not been solved yet, and I want to solve it. So are you interested? And I'm like, okay, let's go for a journey where we started with literally 3-page deck to now 20 people.
Wow. So what does your company do? What is the problem they are solving now?
So back in the days, and funnily enough, still now, companies do not manage to get an optimized treasury. What I mean by that is, because they don't want to put all their eggs in the same baskets, they usually have different banks, and they usually have different systems, and they land at the end of the day with a very fragmented operational workflow. And it takes people behind Excel spreadsheet to try to give the CFO or the treasurer or the person in charge of finance, the money, accurate view. And the view is never accurate because people try their best, but they take information from different fragmented sources. And most of the time, they are information from yesterday, bank statements from this morning or the day before yesterday. And so when you're in the top 10% of the very, very sophisticated clients, usually you've got the investment bankers that are looking after these clients. So you're safe, you're good, right? And if you are at the very bottom 10%, usually you have one or two restaurants, or you have a what I call very simple treasury, which means you have one currency, you have one or two banks, and that's it. So it can be your spouse, if you are having a restaurant, if you're a restaurant owner, or an accountant, and that's more than enough. And you find yourself with 80% of the population of the corporation in between that are not served. And they are not served because, and it's a very, very interesting paradox. The banks say, well, give me all your business and I'll give you an accurate view and a very spot-on view. But the corporation say, I'm not going to give you all my business because I have to segregate my business for safety purposes. And the eggs in the basket comes in. So there is a paradox that has struggled to be solved for so many years at a high level. I mean, back in the days, if you looked at the CAC 40, which is the stock exchange of the 40 biggest French companies, they need to overcover the position because they are not very sure about their numbers. And all this money, there are fees attached to it. So at the end of the day, all this money could come back in the pocket of the corporation and they could fuel their growth. They could pay their people better. They could reinvest in their IT. And they don't because it's very complex. So we were a bunch of former bankers. We know Treasury inside out. It's been our journey for 25, 30 years. So we just decided to take the latest technology that is called machine learning, very powerful algorithm, and to take all the steps of everything linked to treasury management, liquidity management, everything that is money.
Involving money, cash flow. Okay.
And trying to put the two together and to help the people to automate at large scale all their transactions, and to go to a level of detail that is so powerful that now the technology brings back information to your system. And in the morning when you arrive at your desk, you know that the accuracy of your treasury is spot on. So that was 8 years ago. And now we've moved very, very much further with the emergence of AI. Agentic AI.
Yeah.
And we've been developing for the last 18 months something that is super cool. I'm super passionate. So you have to stop me. Otherwise, I'm going to spend an hour talking about it.
No worries. You can go ahead first. We'll stop you there.
So you remember machine learning is sort of AI early days. Now you've got agentic AI and everyone is talking about the agent. But what we create is a little bit different. Because we are talking about money, about banks, about regulation. So we took all the regulation that we knew of. So MAS, FIT, you've got the FCA, DORA, European Act. So we put that as a cushion.
All these are regulators.
The regulation around money. Okay. What you can do when you go from one country to the other one,
cross borders.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you don't put strength and power in making sure that everything is safe and surrounded by regulation, you get yourself in big trouble. So we put the regulation, and then you put the knowledge, all our brain, all the PhD studies that have been done, all the policies, and you put that. We call that a knowledge center, and then finally you create a bench of agents that are going to be experts. So one is going to be an FX expert or working capital expert or a market watch expert. And all of them are orchestrated by a sort of orchestrator, let's call it this way. And it's like an LLM. And finally, you give that to you. You're the CFO or the treasurer, and I bring a team of experts just dedicated to you. And finally, now the roles are reversed. You don't have to get into the banks or the treasury management system rails. You don't have to adapt yourself to them. Now, this bench of experts are working for you, according to your policies, and every morning is going to say, hey, Matthew, how are you? So here's your position. This is a trap money you cannot touch. This is the available money you can touch. And by the way, you're going to be short of Singaporean dollars on that transaction in 3 weeks' time. But you're long in USD, so what you could do is a swap of currencies now, or you could also take money from your Malaysian entity that is long Singaporean dollar and do an intercompany loan. And so it gives you all these little scenarios, and you as a human, you say, well, actually this scenario is good for me, and you approve and you take action. So you've got like a magnificent power of knowledge put at your disposal to now run your treasury as you see fit, as accurately as you can, and finally, this waste of money that you used to put on the table towards banks to cover your position come back into your pocket. Then you can fuel your growth.
So Audrey, if we had to make it simple, right? Is there an example of why would someone have a treasury? And how will that work?
Yeah. Treasury is a word that maybe people don't use often, but it's pretty much managing your money, right? So if you're a business owner and you've got a first company in Singapore and you expand and you have a second company in Singapore, you're going to have like 2 businesses to manage, and then you go well. So you decide to go in Indonesia, in Malaysia, in Thailand, Vietnam. And then you start to import product from China. And you realize that you start to deal with different countries, different banks, local banks in the countries, different currencies. And then it starts to become very
messy.
Very complex, very quickly. And you've got as many people try on Excel spreadsheets trying to make sense of that. Numbers. And then you know, as well as me, that banks have different protocols, so they can send you bank statements in different format, PDF, maybe in the evening, maybe in the morning, and then you start to scratch your head.
Okay.
And things have been developed to help these people, but what we've developed is a very, very easy layer, IT layer, where we put knowledge and technology together, and where we pull all this information. And we reconcile all this information together. We automate them, we orchestrate them, and we give back to your people a very simple view. As soon as one payment has been out or come in, you get the information. So at least you've got a very, very accurate view of how much money is available now, right? And where it goes further, and I'm not going to go back into complexity, but where it goes further is the more complex, the bigger you are, the company, then you start to have mortgage and loans, and you've got money that is trapped.
Yeah.
And you don't know,
trapped in inventory.
But you don't know how much is available in which currency. So we can go very, very far because we've integrated back in the days machine learning into the infrastructure, the brain of what we've done. And now the agents, Agentic AI, are actually doing the work for these people. So these people are now sitting here with very accurate view, very accurate information, making the right decision for their own company.
So what's the definition of the Agentic AI? What do they do?
It's a mini you that goes much faster, that doesn't need to rest, to eat.
Won't get sick. Okay.
About 24/7.
Yeah, and as I said, we have the regulation as our pivotal cushion. So these people are literally looking inwards towards your business and say, okay, I'm going to do all the small tasks, all small market review, all small that you used to be doing, but I'm going to do it much faster, and I'm going to go much deeper. Now, I stop there, and I give you human the control when it comes to make a decision.
So they don't make the decision, they pull out all the necessary homework, and the human, at the end of the day, will decide to make this move or not.
They can give you various avenues, different choices, or different ideas, but you're the business owner. So you have to make the decision. And finance and regulation around finance is very, very careful. You have to apply responsible AI to that. So what we do is to let the human being the owner of the decision, let the agent do all the small work very fast to help you, to enable you to make and take the right decision.
Do they have a definition for responsible AI by the regulators, or it's just...
It's something that is being discussed.
Debated, right?
It's been discussed. And I think at the end of the day, look, from all my banking experience, it will take months, if not years, for the regulators to decide and to agree between countries, between regions in the world. So at the end of the day, it takes also you to decide for your own company. Our company, we decided to have a responsible AI where the human stays in control.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, I'm looking at a lot of these things and I realized that first thing first, I think you're in the fintech world, right? And it's a huge word, right? So what does it really mean in your perspective?
Fintech?
Yeah.
Look, for me, it's like medtech, agritech. Fintech is financial and technology. Back in the days when I started in banking, tech was very limited. Now the tech goes so fast, and even faster now is AI, right? So it's just using the tech to help that industry to do a better job, a safer job, and a smarter job. You know, I always say, if you look back in the days about Treasury, so the money reconciliation, right? You've got someone who needs to pay you and someone who needs to be given a service, right? Reconciliation it's easy, it's not a difficult task to do. And when you have thousands to do and it's always on one human, behind it's boring.
Yeah.
So tech helps so much more the financial industry now. Like the tech helps the medical industry go faster. So the fintech people, so people like us who decided to create a company, it was just, we saw a gap in the market or a gap in this industry and a gap that was not filled by anyone yet for different reasons. The banks, for instance, they have ITs that are pretty old, so they put patch on their IT stack, and they are strong, but they can't customize their IT for every single client. So when you start to take tech and you apply that to a very specific field and you said, well, actually, that can be customized. This service can even be sold to banks or given to banks to use it for their own clients. So fintech is literally, stop doing boring things and using the technology to advance.
Okay. And in 2025, you won the Emerging Fintech Award in Singapore Fintech Festival, right?
Oh, congrats to you on that.
Yeah.
Big moment. So proud.
And how do you win it? Or why do you win it? Do you know?
We had a panel of judges, so I don't know the reason why they chose us, but we had just launched this new Agentic AI set of experts I was talking earlier. That really, I believe from a social point of view, one of my give back and one of what literally makes me come to work every morning super motivated is the nerve of a country's economic backbone are the companies. So if you give all the power to companies to expand, to grow, you've got a very healthy country, right? So all this money that is wasted or left on the table because people don't know or people cannot do annoyed me massively. So this Agentic AI, the solution is called Agora. This Agentic AI that we try to push as much as we can is to help these companies take back their power, take back their fuel, growth, and reinject in the economy of the country. And I think maybe that's, I guess, what the judge saw about our company, and we want to give back a lot. That's also one of the reasons why, the regulatory layer I told you about.
Yeah.
And then there is a knowledge center, literally our brain, right?
Mm-hmm.
That part, we give it for free to whomever wants to educate oneself.
Mm-hmm.
Be a student, be someone, a business owner that has a little bit of questioning about Treasury, or anyone really, Matthew. We decided we could have put a token to pay for it, but we said, you know what? It's our way to give back. So education should be free, and a healthy country is a country made of educated people. So I can give you the link afterwards. You try it. It works like an LLM. Ask any question, like what's the difference between this and that in Treasury, or how do I make the best of my money if I've got a long and short position in two different. It's like a GPT specialized in Treasury, and people can educate themselves.
Okay.
Students can do too.
I think it's about giving back, right?
Yes.
To the society with your expertise.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on that, let's get personal, right? I'm very curious about your personal story, because I think when we were talking about it, you also mentioned that you are retired.
And
you decided to come back.
No, she used the word
I was
pre-retired.
Pre-retired, right? Yeah.
I was not having fun anymore in banking, and I wanted to do something. And I came back because my partner was not ready to retire, so I had something to do. And then my very good friend, banking friend, said, hey, I've got this idea, and shall we do it together? I could use your skills. The idea was really to help the companies to solve a problem. And me specifically in Singapore.
Why Singapore?
Because
you uprooted yourself from you mentioned San Fran, California.
So before Singapore,
it was in the USA, right?
Yes,
and they come over to Singapore.
Yeah. Look, the more complexity, the more sophistication needed, the more we as a company thrive. Right? I told you that the first 10%,
yes,
simple needs. They can go to any banks. They're going to be fully covered. The banks are doing a fantastic job for that. Europe is interesting because a lot of different regulation, but one currency. Take Asia.
That's
perfection. Lots of regulation, lot of restriction in the regulation. Some countries you cannot take some money out, and so complexity, different currencies, swap of currencies, cross borders everywhere. So we had this plan to expand in Singapore. And from my banking days, I'm in love with Singapore since years. So when we had the opportunity to say, okay, now we are stable enough, we're going to expand in Asia.
Can I come to Singapore?
Yeah. And personally, you were asking, look, I've got more past than future. I'm not a dinosaur, but I really want to give back, to give the new generation a chance to take the lead in this fintech and world, and to share my experience as much as I've been given the chance to be guided when I was a younger banker. So I'm the CEO of Singapore, but I'm also the chair of the company. I was the chair of the company. I became CEO of Singapore because I incorporated. But as soon as the company is stable enough in Singapore, I want to give the CEO back to a young lady or a young gentleman, Singaporean one, and say, you know what, fintech is a nice, buzzy word, but behind it, it's serious stuff. There is regulation. We are talking about money, banks, and I'm going to help you to understand the reason why what you're doing is helping so many companies, but also why you need to do it safely.
Yeah, because I caught a few phrases from you, right? You mentioned you want to give back to the young generation, right? And you mentioned a couple of times throughout our whole conversation. Why are you so passionate about giving back to the young generation?
So I'm passionate about giving back to the younger generation, and also particularly or equally passionate about the female generation. And I'm going to start with this one. When I was a young female banker, I didn't have a lot of women I could look up to because there weren't not many, if any.
Yeah.
So we need that to change because the diversity is not about gender diversity or color or religion diversity. It's about the diversity of thoughts. If we are from different culture, different background, and different approach, so gender, we're going to approach the problem differently now. Imagine the richness it brings to the table. So that's for the ladies. The younger generation, because they are the future. And I find them absolutely phenomenal. They fear nothing. As I said, I'm 53. So when you remember the story I told you, I wanted to be a writer. My dad said, yeah, good, write on your weekend. We still had, my dad is a boomer. So my dad has this one enterprise, one company for life. My dad you did beautiful studies, Audrey. You have to have a good job. Like art and stuff is just for this new generation. They just can create anything from anything.
By new generation, you mean which age and below?
From graduation to 40 years old. I think you start really to get the experience. The years, I mean, it's you can't be 25 and have so much experience, right? So I think by the time you're 40, you start to really embrace the experience. And that's the reason why in our team, look, our youngest one, our product manager, he came literally to me, was still studying.
Wow.
Nice.
He's 25. He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And our oldest one is 63. And one of our criteria of diversity, apart from, race, LGBT, color of the skin, etc., is age. Because if you now have within our team a young man, 25 years old, that is not an analyst, he's our product manager, right? And he's leading our Indian team of developers that is facing one of my relationship managers, she's 60, or one of our guys that is 63. Imagine the combo of generation.
Yeah.
One was born with a computer in his hand, pretty much doing YouTube, social media.
Yeah.
And the other one knew of a coupon.
Yeah, coupon. Yeah.
What is a coupon?
Yes.
Right? And I ask you the question, what is a coupon? And a coupon is actually, back in the day in banking, you had titles, right? So when a company wanted to fundraise, they would issue some titles, and you would have little coupon piece of papers that would be paid on a regular basis. So you would have to cut the coupon and go back to the bank and get the coupon paid, right? And they were all numbered. And to this day, the reason why I say the story of the coupon is because it's what I've been given as information when I was a young banker. Do you know what a coupon is? I'm like, So the coupon is still a word that is used now. But how do you expect 25 years old to know what was a
understand
coupon?
the history of it? Yeah.
So when you have this sort of like waves of emotions and information and education between young and old, I think it's beautiful. So they're amazing. The new generation is amazing, and you're the future, guys. So,
do you think it's easier to manage the younger one or the older one? I think that's one of the top.
A difficult person has no idea.
Nothing to do with age. It's the person itself.
If you're in front of whomever, what age, so long they make you think or make you ask yourself some question. Doesn't matter if they are 25 or if they are 63.
Right.
In fact, I met a founder of a company who just put together a startup, and it's the same age profile that you mentioned, 60 years old, and the co-founder, the head of the tech or the products, right, is 19.
Wow.
Yeah, and he mentioned that the understanding of the AI, the agents in AI is phenomenal for the young person. because they were born in the era.
Absolutely.
They understand how the technology moves. So I think that's why, right? The young people.
Yeah. But I was wondering for you, because I think you've been through the different ages, from paper to tech and all. Which phase of life on that aspect is the hardest for you?
So I think when so I'm gonna break that down into two parts. As a girl, it was complicated because I didn't have any woman I could look up to. And
has it changed now already? Or
yeah, it starts to change.
Okay.
It starts to change because, as I said, they're phenomenal. The younger generation, the ladies, they just don't care. And now they've got...
And they have role models like you to look up to.
Yeah, but I'm still a Generation X, right? My sister is a millennium, my younger sister. She's pushing full speed, and she's in the prime. She's 41. She's in her prime, right? So you've got all these younger ladies that look up to people like a woman like my sister that is full on, because this is the age where you push your career as much as you can. And people like me, it was not complicated because it didn't exist. So the problem, Matthew, is when you don't know the taste of something, you don't know if you're going to miss it or not. So because I could not find any woman back in the days, very hardly, or they were too far up that I could approach them. I didn't know it was complicated. Now I wish I could have had that. So that was my first answer to the question. The hardest, I think the end of my career in banking, when I say I was very tired, it's not, I was young still, but it was just like I was bored. And when you don't have the passion or you're bored, it was not interesting because you get an SVP level because you're good. And when you are at the SVP level, they pretty much, in banking at least, you do a lot of,
senior
work for the board, and so I was bored and I needed something new, and it's not I needed something new, and the end was like, it's complicated to leave banks because it's a good salary, it's a monthly salary, and jump into okay, we've got a deck with 3 pages. What do we do next? Well, we need to incorporate the company. It's what we did just 8 years ago, right? So it was risky, and my dad didn't like it either. I said, "Are you crazy?" So yeah, I think the end to take the decision to jump when you have all the comfort that you should keep if you were reasonable, but I'm not. So decided to jump and to play the risk. But I really enjoyed it, and that's the reason why I want. And I've got years ahead of me still, right? But I want to create this team in Singapore where we're going to have these young people, versatile people coming from different backgrounds, and we're going to grow as a team, and only when the team is grown up sufficiently, but I can guide them, then I can come back and being a chair and look down to them and say,
and you can just guide them and mentor them, right? Good. And with that, right, let me introduce you to our next segment. This is the Enzo segment. Over the course of interviewing and networking, we realized that many people do not know what question to ask. Hence, we came up with this. It's as simple as pick up a card and ask that question. Okay, so now I have in front of us the Enzo segment, right? So this is Act 4, right? So maybe I'll get you to choose 2 cards, and then we can read out the questions for you.
Any two.
Any two.
All right, I'm gonna choose this one.
All right, I'll have that.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So the first question I have for you is, how did you reinvent yourself after achieving initial success?
I think I'd say by, I'm not sure I reinvented myself. I think I've been forced to. I've been banking all my life, right? And in banking, you're in a company, you've got everything organized, and you've got your project, and you've got... When I jumped into this new life of a fintech, starting from scratch and building the company, building the solution, the products, hiring people, and literally jumping into this world of machine learning AI, it's new for everyone. Unless you had a PhD in quantum physics but everything that is linked to machine learning and now AI is new to pretty much everyone.
Everyone, yeah.
So just embrace every single day. And one thing I adore more than anything is to learn something every day. So I'm learning every single day. And it come back to the age, I can learn from my 25 years old about how an agent would react to this prompt. And I can learn from my 60 years old about how she used to sell, stuff in her banking days. So how do you reinvent yourself? I think in my industry, at this precise moment, I just follow the flow as much as I can.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, so the next question is, what new goals did you set for yourself after achieving success? So maybe you can define what success and what new horizons do you set for yourself?
Yeah. So this one is an easy one. Hiring people in Singapore, creating a diverse and beautiful team, and expanding in Southeast Asia and in Asia Pac. And once that is built and I watch them growing, I think that will be the real success for me.
Okay.
Remember, I was at the first beginning of Fennech in the UK, then Brexit happened. We had to open in Europe. So it was Paris, and we opened in Canada. And so the Singapore is very close to my heart because I incorporated here. And it's sort of my baby.
Oh, nice.
So that would be success, to have a team here of dedicated people, and seeing them succeed would be perfection for me.
Nice. Okay. We should have young Singaporeans apply to your company soon, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And that's how we Enzo.
Thank you. Very good game.
The big question in the current climate that the world is in today is that AI is going to take away the jobs of so many people, and everybody's going to be very worried about it. I'd like to ask you, in your expertise and experience, what are your thoughts on that?
You hear a lot of people talking about that.
It's all doom and gloom, to them.
Yeah. You see a lot of big companies firing thousands of people, and people continuously blame AI for that. Is that really because of AI, or is that because of the current climate that is difficult? We don't know. We are not in the board when they are deciding to let off people. I think if you're asked to do the same task every single day, Matthew, it's boring, right? So if you're offered to have something doing it for you, and you can then go back to a much more attractive job, which is a job of creation or decision, and I think the answer to this question has not yet emerged, and I'm going to tell you why. And I think because this young generation that has started with social network, and they were born with a computer in their hand, they are not yet in power. The people in power are still Generation X, people like me. And people like me are 1 foot in the past, 1 foot in the future, let's put it this way, which is the current situation. So when this younger generation is going to be in power, they're going to reinvent themselves, because they would have grown up into an environment where AI would have already taken part of their boring tasks. Think of the young people studying and getting caught by their teacher because they've been doing their essay with AI, right? Yeah. Sometimes the professor, if is still in prime age, is going to say, hey, who do you think I am? I saw you doing that, or I can read it's AI. And some other professors that are older don't see the difference. So my point is, I think the answer is not yet there. I think it's going to be a mix. Surely AI is going to replace some tasks. People, I'm not sure. I think people are going to be replaced by people using AI. This I'm pretty sure. And the future is unknown. We don't know. Just because, and it's not a problem if AI does tasks and forces you to work 4 days per week. You can enjoy life more. We don't live to work. We work to live.
That's a good philosophy. Yeah.
And I come from a country, look, at one point, one of our presidents decided that everyone would go to 35 hours per week. Right?
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that my country is not economically strong. So I truly believe that there is a nice balance to have. And at the moment, we have not yet found the balance. And it's not going to come right now. People are just afraid of everything because human nature hates change. So the gloomy things, we are in a discovery phase. That's
discovery.
Yeah.
So you're confident that we will be better off?
Yeah, because...
as humankind.
Yeah. Human nature hates change, so people prefer to, instead of, embracing the change. And secondly, human nature is resilient.
Yeah.
So let's give humans some chance to monitor that. And by the way, and it's not for today, but I've been chairing something American Cancer Society, right? And the American Cancer Society in the US is super strong. When you see, thanks to AI, the progress they are making towards cancer treatment and saving humans' lives, who can just say, well, AI is going to take our job? Let's find balance. Let's give time to tell us where we're going. But I'm confident about human nature.
Yeah. I mean, with all the knowledge that you have now, right? And I were to bring you back to the past, would you have done anything different?
Move to Singapore faster, earlier.
I love Asia. I love
create AI earlier.
But we are so similar, French people and Singaporean. It's all about food, lunch and food.
Yes.
No, because I had grand plans. I wanted to be a writer. I became a banker, and then so I just went with the flow. I just trusted life and trusted that I just followed my path, which was, so long you have passion and so long you're having fun, I move on. And when I'm bored or I don't find anything really attractive to my current day, then I move out. So I'm not sure I was in control the entirety of my life, professional and personal, to be honest. So no, I loved it the way it went.
And what's your biggest life lesson, if you could find one, that you could share with us?
Never say never. I had no idea I would live in the States.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
I remember the first time I went to London. It was as a professional. I was sent to an hotel and I opened the curtain. It was night and I was facing Tower Bridge and it was like, wow. I said, if I would live in London, I would love to live here over my dead body, because I'm from Paris and I love Paris. A few years later, I started a journey of 10 years in London. And my flat was literally facing Tower Bridge. So never say never. The minute you say never, something in the life director
Changes.
Says, well, yeah,
let's just give it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little challenge.
Okay. And throughout your career in finance, maybe you can share with us a business or a personal finance tip that we can...
They could help any new entrepreneurs out there.
A tip? Personal?
Personal or business?
I'd say personal. Diversify. Well, actually, it's funny because it's what I was saying earlier about diversification. Don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Yeah. Diversify. Personally, currencies, region, instruments.
Everything.
Yep. Because it's like not everything can fall at the same time.
Right.
So, yeah. Clearly, I would give this gift as as an advice to my younger self. Diversify your portfolio.
Does that apply to partners and spouse?
You ask very dangerous questions.
I'm just
you want to diversify partners or
curious and all. Yeah.
No.
But what about finance?
Let your wife
Is
know.
Financial portfolio.
Yes,
financial
tips.
portfolio.
Yeah. No, okay, so what about any tips for financial? Then for anyone who is out there who wants to be successful, whether it's a personal financial tip or a business financial tip, is it still diversification or are there more?
Are you talking about your own money or your professional life?
Money.
I'm not a financial advisor.
So those that need a financial advisor, do look for that.
No. Yeah, if I were to give this advice to my younger self, I would have told myself at 20 years old, invest some part of your money and diversify as much as you can. Buy bonds, buy stocks, buy ETF, buy in currency Singaporean, USD, Europe, diversify. But I'm not a financial advisor, so I will not answer your question.
So now we talk about the past. Let's talk about the future, right? Because I think we mentioned a bit about AI just now. We mentioned a bit about your company, right? I also mentioned about yourself, right? So let's start with the overall broadening things, which is what do you see in the near future? Is it for the world or for AI itself? In your own prediction.
Collaboration. So see, Fennech and what we've developed so far in terms of solutions are solutions that are very specific to one vertical, that is Treasury. Why? Is because we are expert in liquidity management, treasury management, everything that is linked to money. And what we've been doing, because it's our company and we have no boundaries, so we can go as far as we want, is super powerful. And I'm not saying that because it's our company, but it's extremely powerful. And it's extremely strong to give back corporation freedom and more money to invest, right?
Right.
And we are so many of us in different industries or different verticals. So the collaboration is, if you really want to make impact, you have to be dedicated to one field of expertise. And if you really want to become impactful as a group of professionals, is collaboration, because next to me there will be a company that will be expert in fraud and would use Agentic AI to detect fraud.
Right.
And another company or vertical would be about compliance, audit. The financial industry is so wide. There are so many things to do still. The supply chain, financial side, and I'm not going to go there, it's far too complicated, still totally underserved. And we can serve them. And the AI optimization they've got on the supply chain, so the bits and pieces, is not facing any mirror on the financial side, when it could. But it's so complicated that people prefer not to go there, and they go to stuff that is easier to develop. So the collaboration for the good of the company, the corporation, and the more corporations are successful, the more the economy of the country thrives. And I think we will have to become much more collaborative.
So when you mean collaborative, you mentioned a lot of diversify, collaboration. Do you see the workforce in general in the future making the world a smaller place because you can collaborate with different parts of the world at faster speeds?
Think of it as a card game, right? You can play against me. We can play in 3, and then we can have this game. I can't remember the name, and anyway, I would not have the English name. So, where the 2 of us try to put you down, because you decide to take the hidden stack of cards here because you've got a good hand, and our purpose is to put you down, right? So think of that as this card game is. You and me can have similar layer of solution and some other that are different. The world is not going smaller, is your technology and my technology are going to be able to serve you. So you're going to have a need, and I'm going to say, well, Matthew, I can take this layer and that layer, and you're going to come and say, well, actually, yeah, I'll leave her this layer because I don't know how to do it. And I can do the second and the third layer. Now, Matthew is the one to decide which company do you want the second and third layer from. Doesn't mean that we're going to cannibalize each other.
Yeah.
It means that you've got the choice to have 3 layers extremely powerful from 2 different companies that are going to be forced to collaborate. But collaboration is becoming easier and easier because the technology allows us to collaborate easily. Now you're talking API, you're talking set of keys, to put our technology together. It's not like back in the days where you literally had to do plumbing and
keys.
and pipes, and it goes easy. It's easy, and you can also say, well, Audrey, I prefer layer A and B from him, but you act as a backup if his company goes down, and so the collaboration is more sharing.
More sharing across everyone.
Right. Yeah. So Audrey, before we end up this whole conversation, right, for every single guest that sat there, we will ask him or her this question. The question is, if there's one word that you give to all inspiring entrepreneurs out there, what would this one word be and why?
All right. Jump.
Jump. Why?
There's always been an Italian sentence that I really love, so I'm not going to give you the Italian sentence, but it's going to say, jumping is not the fear of falling down. I understand having vertigo. It's the fear of flying. So jump, because what you're afraid of is not the fear of falling down. It's gravity. That if you jump, you're going to fall down. It's the fear. What stops you is the fear of flying.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you for that. Yeah, and as we end off, right, maybe I'll put your attention to this camera here. Any last piece of advice or tips, anything that you'd like to shout out to our viewers out there?
I was talking about collaboration earlier. I think one thing I keep on telling people to do is ask questions. People are, and particularly the people from Generation X that are starting to have enough experience, you have no idea how much they are ready to share their experience, share their do's and don'ts. So to the younger generation, to the people starting their own gig, trying to organize their thoughts or launching their own company, ask questions. Ask people out for a coffee and say, well, this is my problem. What would you advise? And do that with different people. I think I come back to my point earlier about human nature. I think human nature is not as gloom and doom as people think we are. So people are always happy to share experience. So I am the first one to offer my piece of experience. So if you'd like to discuss, I love my coffee black. And I'm happy to discuss.
Nice.
Coffee black.
Coffee black is the key.
Yes.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Hi guys. Thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.